Although a chainsaw is not the first power tool that the majority of homeowners purchase, having a good chainsaw in the shed is essential if you ever find yourself in need of one. For a homeowner, a high-quality tool will prove to be their best friend in a variety of situations, including but not limited to chopping their wood to burn, clearing brush, cleaning up after a storm, and felling trees. After slicing logs, lopping branches off downed trees, and chopping up firewood, we determined that the DeWalt FlexVolt DCCS 670T1, which is available on Amazon, is the best chainsaw, and the Husqvarna 440, which is also available on Amazon, is the finest gas-powered chainsaw. On the other hand, if you have alternative requirements, our guide contains a wide variety of other excellent chainsaws from which you can choose. Number 12. FlexVolt DCCS 670T1, powered by DeWalt. At the end of our testing, the DeWalt 60V Max 16-inch chainsaw emerged as the best chainsaw. The 60V 2H battery has all the power of a tiny gasoline saw, but it does not have any of the maintenance, fumes, or noise that are associated with gasoline saws. It breezed through every one of our tests without any difficulty or reluctance, to the point where we began using it for other cutting jobs in our yards when the testing was finished. The fact that the DeWalt was able to cut through a log with a diameter of 30 inches was quite astounding, even though we would not recommend using it regularly. From the point of view of its features, this saw does not have anything particularly distinctive or eye-catching. The chain brake, an automatic oiler, and tool-less tensioning are all standard features on this model. Its power and speed are what set it distinct from other things. We went so far as to include a time test between the Ego and the DeWalt because these two machines are fairly similar to one another. The DeWalt was able to cut through one of the log slices in 4 seconds less than the Ego. If you are a homeowner and do not have a particular requirement for a saw that is powered by gasoline, then we would recommend purchasing the DeWalt. This is predicated on the assumption that you are willing to pay a slightly higher price for overall performance, as it will not disappoint you. Number 11. 970,515,428 Husqvarna 440 Lawnmower. One of the most well-known brands in chainsaws is Husqvarna, and the 440 is a good example of why this is the case. We believe that this chainsaw is the best gas-powered chainsaw that you can purchase right now, and it is an excellent chainsaw that is suitable for homeowners. With an 18-inch bar and a 40 engine, it is capable of cutting through virtually anything that we would feel comfortable facing. We were able to make all of the typical test cuts with this saw without any difficulty. Through the logs that ranged in size from 10 to 12 inches, nothing became stuck or even slowed down. The saw began to protest and slow down significantly after we began cutting through wood with a diameter of 18 inches or more. Yet it was still able to power through the task at hand. Throughout lengthy use, the gear did become clogged a little bit more than it did with previous gas saws that I'd used, but it was just as simple to clear out. It was really simple to get started with this saw, which was one of the things that we liked about it. The instructions for starting are printed directly on the handle, which is a great feature for users who only use the choke instrument once or twice a year because it helps them remember which position the choke should be in at what time and how many pulls they should make without flooding the engine. The carburetor tuning issue that we encountered with the smaller Husqvarna that we evaluated appears to have been avoided by this model as well. An excellent choice that is supported by one of the most dependable brands in the business is the Husqvarna 440 chainsaw, which is a workhorse of a chainsaw that can be used for a variety of tasks, including the management of trees in a large yard or the chopping of firewood for the winter season. Number 10. CS 1611 on the Ego Power Plus. The Ego Power Plus is a battery-powered saw that is a workhorse and was one of the top performers in the category over its entire lifespan. It asserts that it is a saw with a 40 equivalent, and we believe that it is because it outperformed the Echo CS 310, which has a 30 engine. Throughout all of our tests, it never slowed down or became clogged, even when we were using it to hack up enormous logs of firewood. Because it was so effective in chewing through the firewood, we decided to test it on some much larger logs that ranged in size from 20 to 24 inches. It was able to cut through those logs as well, but with a little bit more work because they were larger than the bar size. All of the features that are often included in high-quality tools are included in this one. A chain brake is an essential component, and just like many other saws that are powered by batteries, this one also features tool-less chain tensioning, which is a very practical feature. In addition to having an automatic oiling system to ensure that it is always greased, the chain is intended to minimize backlash. This Ego chainsaw, which is powered by a battery, it is, all things considered, one of our favorite saws. We would even be willing to head out into the woods and cut down a real tree with it if we had a full battery or two, which is not true with many battery-powered saws. Number 9. Core 40 Skilled Programmer CS 455510. During the testing process, this chainsaw was one of the ones that caught us off guard. The performance of the 14-inch saw, the 40 column, was significantly greater than what we anticipated when we took it out of the package. It is a machine that is well built and has controls that are straightforward to understand and use, making it simple to manipulate and move around with. Even more impressive is the fact that the Skill Chainsaw's 40-volt battery packs a significant amount of power. It chewed through any tiny logs and brush, chopped the smaller slices off of larger logs, and made it through firewood-sized chunks until it bound up toward the ends of the cuts. It also sliced the smaller slices off of larger logs. In all honesty, it was superior to the gas-powered Echo 310 in terms of both power and performance. This chainsaw is equipped with all of the functionality that one would anticipate finding in a chainsaw that is powered by a battery. To begin, it is equipped with a chain brake, which is something that we consider to be an absolute necessity in a tool that can cause harm. In addition, it includes a tool-less chain tensioning system, which is particularly useful when working in the field, as well as a quick charge function, which allows the battery to gain 30% of its power in just 15 minutes. Even while that is not going to be enough to get you through an entire day of chopping, it is sufficient to get you through some of the jobs that you need to complete for the day without having to wait for an hour. The price of this product is significantly lower than that of some of the best battery-powered saws, making it an excellent option for homeowners who only use their saws occasionally. We believe that it is the greatest chainsaw available on the market if you are searching for a featherweight duty alternative that is also affordable. Number 8. Echo CS 31014. In comparison to our best overall saw, the Echo 310 14-inch 30.5 gas-powered chainsaw is the more compact of the two chains, and much like its older sibling, it is a high-quality computer, provided that you do not expect it to perform an excessive amount of tasks. It is most effective when used to clear saplings and small trees that are buried in the underbrush, or when it is used to break up tiny logs that range in diameter from 6 to 8 inches, at a size that is significantly larger than that. This small saw begins to suffer. When we tested it on oak logs ranging from 10 to 12 inches in length, it frequently became stuck and stopped cutting through them. This was true for both the longer fuel logs and the shorter slabs measuring 2 inches. It was able to make it through all of those cuts, but it required some work, and we would not want to use this for bucking cords of firewood or cutting down trees of a reasonable size. The promotional materials state that it is rated for a log with a diameter of 25 inches, and we almost certainly would not wish to attack such a log. This is an excellent choice for a homeowner who wants to keep the underbrush under control and chop small trees into manageable chunks. As is the case with all types of tools, the ideal one for you depends on your demands. To begin, it is simple to start. It is lightweight enough to be carried around and maneuvered, and it is easy to maintain. The fact that it is a gas-powered machine means that it will continue to run without the need to stop for as long as you have fuel to drive it. Simply said, you shouldn't anticipate that it will be able to support a significant amount of weight. Number 7. Oregon CS 300. This Oregon chainsaw was unfortunately one of the chainsaws that we tested that was the most disappointing. This is especially true because it is also one of the more costly equipment on our list. The cutting speed is poor, and it lacks power. It is possible to hear the engine beginning to struggle as soon as it makes contact with the wood. One of the saws that we tested was the only one that had difficulty cutting through the small bits of wood, and it took a significantly longer amount of time than the other saws to cut through the large chunks of firewood. It is to its credit that it did not become entangled during cutting, but it did take a great deal more time than the ones that did. This saw has a self-sharpening feature, which is the only thing that makes it a good purchase. When you want to use it, you need to pull the sharpening lever for a few seconds while the saw is running. As the chain is sharpened, sparks fly through the air. Visual inspection revealed that it appeared to have done a satisfactory job, and the chain insisted on maintaining its sharpness throughout our testing. However, despite having a nice feature, it does not compensate for the significant lack of power that is there at this price point. Number 6. This is EGO Power Plus CS 2005. In the past, electric chainsaws used to be incapable of competing with gas chainsaws in terms of their cutting performance. Since the release of the EGO Power Plus CS 2005, those days are now officially behind us. It is the fastest battery chainsaw that we have tested, and it is now faster than the 20-inch gas chainsaws that we have in our lineup. Not only does it perform the best in our standardized 4x4 cutting and real-world tests, but it also has no wind-up time. If you consider that you do not have to mess with a choke or pull the handle 20 times on a cold day like you have to do with a gas chainsaw, then the EGO truly blows away the competition in the speed department. Our testers have made the same comment over and over again. It feels like you are cutting through butter. Additionally, it has a convenient display that tells you how much battery you have left, as well as whether you are in eco, medium, or boost modes. The biggest downside with the saw is the weight. While it's about the same weight as a 20-inch gas chainsaw, it's 4-5 lbs heavier than the 18-inch battery models in our tests. You notice right away when you pick it up. When you have the luxury of owning multiple saws, we found ourselves still reaching for the Husqvarna Power Axe 350 IA and EGO Power Plus CS 1800 when doing limbing work. If weight is a big factor, you might still prefer the Husky if you want the most cutting performance in a 14.6-pound saw, and the EGO 18-inch is still the clear best value more below. It is much less expensive than the CS 2005, lighter, and maybe all the saw you need. The HEF 6.3 lbs 6 amp-hour battery is part of the increase in weight. You can always lighten the weight using the EGO 5 amp-hour battery or even the 2.5 amp-hour battery, although runtime and cutting speed will go down. Also note that the saw moves to a more traditional chain tightening tool, which is stored under the saw. Most gas-powered saws use this, so more experienced chainsaw users may prefer this chain tightening method. However, if you're used to the tool-less tightening that most battery chainsaws use, you may find the CS 2005 a little more involved and nuanced to tighten, at least at first. Does this model replace the need for a gas-powered chainsaw? Not quite yet. If you are cutting for hours, the gas saw is probably a better bet, as you would need multiple batteries or take a lot of charging breaks. That said, with this release, the EGO has narrowed the gap between gas and battery-powered, and many people may find it replaces their need for a gas saw. If we could only own one chainsaw, this is the one. Number 5. The MSA 300CO. We have been dealing with Stihl products for decades, and as a result, we have a sufficient level of familiarity with the brand to assert that it does not tend to make overly optimistic statements. On the other hand, when the company told us about this saw and expressed how pleased they were with its ability to cut, we realized that we had no choice but to give it a shot. The findings that we have obtained have not in any way left us feeling disappointed. On the other hand, if you were looking for a chainsaw that is powered by a battery and has achieved the same level of performance as a chainsaw that is powered by a gas engine, then this saw has come closer to accomplishing that elusive goal than anything else that we have seen up to this point. Bucking firewood limbing, and cleaning up after storms are all tasks that can be accomplished with this saw, which has a bar that measures 20 inches and is built for professional use. The still is equipped with a torque that is suitable for heavy-duty use, and it maneuvers through each cut quietly and cleanly. A further feature that we enjoyed about the saw was its ability to absorb vibrations and make effective use of oil. This was made feasible by a feed mechanism, bar and chain design that significantly reduces the quantity of oil that is consumed. Still claims that the design cuts oil consumption by 50% in contrast to a gas engine saw that operates in a completely same manner. 3 distinct power levels can be utilized to lengthen the amount of time that a battery conservation button can be used. At the lowest setting, the amount of power that is drawn from the battery is decreased to an absolute minimum, while the middle setting is approximately suitable for the majority of cutting. At the maximum setting, it is possible to cut the bar length for the entire length of the bar, which allows for excitement. A battery-powered chainsaw from Stihl called the GTA26. The Mini GTA26, which is a chainsaw with a voltage of 10.8 volts, weighs around 3 pounds, and has a guide bar that is 4 inches in length, is by far one of the most remarkable chainsaws that we have investigated in recent years. Even though it was intended for use in woodworking and pruning, it possesses a surprising amount of capability and is capable of performing very well for its size. What is your height, exactly? A tree branch with a diameter of 8 inches broke off and fell across a sidewalk, completely impeding the way of foot traffic. This happened up the street from our workplace, which is located in the other direction. Using this little saw, it was feasible to cut through the tangled mess that was chest deep in just 15 minutes of labor. The muck was chest deep. It appeared as though the branches with a diameter of 6 inches were coming from the trunk of the main branch. These branches were the largest limbs that it sliced through. During the assignment, we also had to deal with several spring poles that had become bent as a result of the tension they were experiencing. One hand can be used to hold a branch while the other hand is used to cut it. This is made feasible by the saw's low weight, which allows for this functionality. When we were finished with the assignment, we strolled back to the office after placing the saw, its battery, a pair of work gloves, and safety glasses into a small tool bag that was designed for a cordless drill. After that, we went back to the office. Several pedestrians who were now on their lunch break were seen walking down the recently renovated promenade. Some branches had been stacked on either side of the path that was being traveled. It is difficult to tell that a chainsaw has just cleared the way because the noise from the tool is so low that the people to effortlessly cut down tall pom-poms while working in the warm atmosphere of the tropics. A craftsman makes use of a chainsaw with a Stihl 070 model. By making use of its 105.7 engine, this chainsaw can effectively cut through sturdy trunks, so guaranteeing that the operation is both quick and accurate. After the craftsman has completed the process of cutting the wood, he will proceed to further cut it into smaller pieces so that it can be utilized in the construction of a variety of home items, including furniture and building materials. With the CALMS 070, you trust decades of proven and robust technology that withstands the most difficult conditions and rough conditions. This saw was developed for felling large diameter logs in tropical conditions and emphasizes the leadership of Stihl in many countries around the world. Asterisk robust technology without sensitive electronics, asterisk easy to service or repair, asterisk excellent value for money, asterisk high availability of spare parts, even in remote areas. Number 4. CC Mini Cordless. The CC Mini Cordless is the best saw we tested that you can easily operate with one hand. It is ideal for smaller backyard projects, where you primarily cut trees and branches that are less than 4 inches in diameter. Our testers noted they were surprised how much more efficient it was than a standard chainsaw when cutting up branches. Being able to operate it with one hand makes a difference, as you don't constantly have to put down the saw and move what you just cut. Unlike the T-Talk Mini Cordless, it never stopped on us, even in our marathon cutting capacity test and in our 4x4 cutting test. It had a much better performance than the Saker Mini Portable. It comes with a handy carrying case that is loaded with accessories, an extra chain, sharpening file, gloves, and oil bow. While we love this saw for smaller projects, it is not ideal for trees much bigger than 4 inches. Our tester said the batteries seem to last forever when cutting 12-inch branches, but one larger tree nearly drained an entire battery. We were also surprised at how long it takes to charge the batteries. Once you drain both batteries, you need to wait hours to be able to use them again. There is no automatic oiling, so you have to manually add chain oil. All that said, we were pleasantly surprised at how well this saw performed for small projects. For many people, it may be all the saw you need and is a giant upgrade from even the best hand saws and folding saws we tested. Number 3. Makita UC4051A. The Makita UC4051A is our top model for people who don't mind using an extension cord. This model did a better job cutting than any other corded version in our review, and it also tied some of the best gas-powered models during our lumber cutting evaluation, but is well behind the CS2005. Our team loved the clever system for helping to prevent the power cord from being disconnected while in use, which could be both annoying and dangerous. Regarding tool-free chain tensioning systems, the Makita is our favorite. There is a fold-out lever that tightens the bar and a wheel that adjusts the chain tension, which is intuitive. The Husqvarna 572 chainsaw. The Husqvarna 572 chainsaw is a powerful and dependable piece of equipment that is being utilized by an experienced carpenter to facilitate the expansion of an existing road that is narrow. When it comes to the process of clearing land, this chainsaw is an active participant. When it comes to maneuverability, the Husqvarna 572 is a delight to ride thanks to its engine, which has a capacity of 70.6 kg and produces 5.8 horsepower. Massive tree trunks that are strong and sturdy because this machine can utilize a blade that is up to 28 inches in length. It is more suitable for cutting down big trees and accelerating the process of labor. Features: fully covered by Husqvarna's 2-year commercial warranty, the longest in the industry. New engine design offers a wide usable RPM range for peak performance even under heavy loads. 12% higher cutting capacity compared to previous models in the same range makes the saw ideal for productive operation, even when using long guide bars. The new cooling system is optimized in every detail to give you a reliable chainsaw for any situation. Chainsaw comes equipped with a heavy-duty filter for longer and better filtration via a larger filtration area compared to previous designs. Ensures a healthier engine that's optimized for long working hours. Auto-tune ensures a correctly tuned engine setting and optimize engine performance in all conditions. Husqvarna's anti-vibration system efficiently separates your hands from the vibrations generated by the engine and the cutting equipment. This is to protect your body, but also to reduce the fatigue in your arms and hands, and at the end of the day, contribute to make your workday more productive. Number 2. The Oregon CS1500. We recommend the Oregon CS1500 to anyone who needs a chainsaw, is located near a power source, and is shopping on a limited budget. This corded electric model is ideal for simple tasks because it cuts well, its controls are easy to understand, and it does not produce a lot of noise. Oregon's power source is external, in contrast to battery-powered and gas-powered models, which makes the saw significantly lighter than electric and gas models that have comparable cutting performance. Additionally, the CS1500 comes equipped with a chain sharpener. All you have to do is apply some pressure to the red lever, and a grinding stone will adjust the chain while it is spinning. Our favorite aspect of the Oregon CS1500 is the price tag. This saw is a fraction of the price of the top-tier models. The first thing we noticed while testing the Oregon CS1500 is that its bar seems thin and flimsy. If you have a big job, a burlier model is likely warranted. This model is also unusually wide and somewhat awkward to wield. As with all corded electric chainsaws, the power cord is not ideal. Although we appreciate the price reduction and think it's nice not to worry about batteries or gas, a power cord is not an option for most chainsaw projects. That said, the Oregon CS1500 is a great option for a budget-friendly corded electric chainsaw. Our favorite option for top-tier performance in a corded model is the Makita UC4051A, but given its far heftier price tag and notably similar scores across all metrics other than performance, we cannot argue the additional spend will be worthwhile for many. Number 1. A Greenworks Pro 80VV. If the length of time it takes for batteries to charge is the primary concern you have when switching from a gas-powered or corded electric model to a battery-powered model, you should consider the Greenworks Pro 80V during our battery charging evaluation. This model's massive 80-volt battery charged in just 27 minutes, which enables you to return to your project after taking a short break for a snack. The 18-inch bar, in conjunction with the high-voltage battery, makes for some extremely quick cuts. This is one of the models that we've tested. The Pro 80V has several features that contribute to its user-friendliness, such as metal bucking spikes and an upright-oriented bar and chain oil tank that is very simple to fill. We have found that high performance can correlate to greater size and weight more often than not, which is exactly the case with the Greenworks Pro 80V high-voltage batteries. Are heavy and long bars add weight, so be prepared for an arm workout using this model. Although this model has a quick charge time, it runs out of juice much faster than the longest-lasting battery-powered models. When we examined how much bar and chain oil this model goes through, we noticed that it uses it up faster than models with similar bar lengths and cut times. Even with a few small flaws, this is the best model if you're looking for a high-performance cordless electric model and want to spend as little time waiting for it to recharge. While no other model in our test suite comes even close to matching the Greenworks Pro's super quick recharge time, the Power Plus CS1800 by Ego will double your available operating time with a single charge and only require an extra hour of wait time to reboot in between. Ego sells a 700-watt turbocharger that can exceed the charging time of the Greenworks. However, that charger is not cheap, so that the Greenworks is still the fastest charging battery for the price. How to choose a chainsaw? Before deciding what type of chainsaw to purchase, there are a few key factors. Below are some key questions that summarize key points from our complete buying advice article. Gas, battery, or corded electric? Most people who have small home projects should get a battery chainsaw. They are easy to maintain, start, and run and usually offer more than enough power. A corded electric chainsaw is usually much more affordable, but you must manage a long extension cord. We tested our corded models with a 100-foot extension cord, which was a pain to coil and still was not long enough for much of our test area. Finally, gas chainsaws are ideal for larger trees and more work. If you plan to cut all day, gas is generally the way to go. However, gas chainsaws take much more maintenance and are often tricky to start on colder days. They are also illegal to purchase in more and more areas and make a lot of noise. Think about the battery system. While most people are best served with battery chainsaws, they present a tricky situation, deciding which battery system to use. The batteries are often nearly half the cost of each battery yard tool. So ideally, you only buy a few batteries that you can use across many tools. But how do you figure out which system to go with? In a perfect world, you would project what are all the different tools that you will use over the next 5 years, and then buy the battery system that usually has either the absolute best tools or offers the best value, since it's hard for most of us to see that far into the future. We recommend thinking about the 1 or 2 tools that you will use the most and optimizing for that. For example, we mainly use a chainsaw and a leaf blower, so we usually optimize for the brands that consistently have the highest ratings for those 2 categories. How long of bar should you buy? The chainsaw's bar, or the blade, is the metal track guiding the chain. When a model is advertised as an 18-inch model, it means that it has an 18-inch bar. Its length determines the deepest cut you can make in one go. The bar should be a few inches longer than the thickest wood you'll regularly handle. Aim for a 16-inch or 18-inch bar if you primarily cut 12-inch logs. Cutting thicker logs with a shorter bar is possible, but requires multiple passes, wasting time and potentially jamming the saw. Smaller, lighter bars 10 to 14 inches are easier to handle, making them perfect for trimming branches. 4 6-inch bars can usually be used with one hand, which frees up the other hand to handle the wood. When felling large trees, opt for the most powerful electric chainsaw you can comfortably control, paired with a longer bar for maximum cutting efficiency. Our tests revealed a significant difference in cutting speed between 18-inch bars and their 14, 16-inch counterparts. Smaller bars are generally quicker to sharpen. If you've watched this far, please share your thoughts in the comments box below for more fascinating subjects. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.